Thank you very much for your endurance. I was absolutely, and I'm still absolutely impressed by the range of presentations, the richness of presentation, and the whole arc from e-government to e-governance. But if I would summarize what I heard about e-governments, I would mention a few points. One, we practically all agreed that it needs a top-down, bottom-up approach, and it needs a people-citizen service, centered service delivery. But we have also heard that how important political will and leadership is, that adequate policy frameworks or principles should be accessible, and that whether centralized or decentralized service delivery, the option to go for centralized portals are important at whatever level it might be. We have heard in this sphere of e-government, e-governance, an impressive range of solutions. And when I compare similar international gatherings, 5-10 years ago, they were mainly focused on software or hardware delivery. And now I didn't hear that at all. It's all concentrated on solutions. And I am absolutely sure that that is the way we have to go. I was impressed by the showcase nearby and by the quality of services offered there. It was also impressive to see how solutions or software are customized, and what works for India might be an excellent study case also to see what works elsewhere. The world is watching India, and I am absolutely confident that there is a lot to learn here. Thank you also for teaching me. I learned a lot the last 2 days. I was also very impressed by the notion to hear the talk, the business of governance. Yes, it is a business. And it is not just, let's say, wait and see, or somebody from the government should come. It is the whole delivery of e-government, but especially also governance, as we have heard from the professor in the last presentation. The whole range is not just related to a singular output. Imagine when you also measure the outcome, the indirect consequences of those service or solution delivery. What can be saved? What economic cost can be saved? What time can be spared, and so on. And that is, in a way or another, in my opinion, a dormant asset. So you can unleash by that practically, from an economical point of view, dormant assets. Connectivity is still an issue. It is an infrastructural issue, it is a financial issue, but we all agree connectivity is key, and without connectivity you cannot do what these amazing tools are offering us. We also noticed that there are practically no technical barriers, or they can overcome, but the access is also critical, and the cost of access. And as a member of the Broadband Commission, I can only tell you that I will certainly bring back to our sessions in Geneva this summer, and in particular in October, a rich magnitude of issues I will have to work upon for those meetings. I am convinced about the economics of broadband, and I am convinced that it is important to go far beyond the backbone in serving broadband close to the last mile, and if possible also to the last mile if there is no Wi-Fi adequate solution to do so. I'm also convinced that this infrastructure of broadband is in a way or another a self-paying issue, because it gives amazing perspectives for service delivery entities or the telecoms. It became also pretty clear here that the notion of M-government or M-governance is unavoidable and is a consequence only partly and greatly to broadband, but also to the distribution, to the allocation to services by mobile phones. The future is steeply growing for those applications, and not just in Africa or in India or Southeast Asia. I'm absolutely sure the same is going to happen in Europe. It is still impressive also to recognize how wide the knowledge issue is valid and how important that resource is. Knowledge is a resource that is growing the more we use it. We have heard, especially also in the last presentation, indications about social medias, and I was very happy to read that India uses it as an interface and not the government does less use it as a propaganda platform, because I can tell you those governments who started to use the social media as propaganda platform, they got that suicidal, because there are so many critical watchers out there, so many critical world citizens, that they will never ever accept that it is used for mere and proper propaganda. So congratulations that the notion of space and place in the sense of this interface to discuss, to dialogue with citizens is used. What is next, I was asked by the organizers. I mean, it is, those are forums like here where you can feel, where you can practically exercise a kind of a trend scouting. And trained scouting in India is an amazing task, but it is an incredibly enriching task, because when I compare the first time I had to do with ITs in India was in '85 in Bangalore, and what happened since then in this, on this subcontinent is simply incredible. And I commend really all of you for what you contribute to do so, and I very much hope that these results are made known to others. I think there are two trends critically very clear, not only the range from e-government to e-governance, but the e-financial inclusion will become key globally. Because the world and the economy, you cannot stop globalization, but the e-financial inclusion is not yet happening. It's not happening in Europe or in the US. M-banking is practically not there. And this is an amazing trend, and probably will keep us abreast for very long. And the second is that we should really take the fear of governments not to go into e-government and e-governance because of creating transparency and accountability. It will be unavoidable. It will be unavoidable also because of the social media. So let me conclude by congratulating the organizers, the participants, for this amazing opportunity to do networking and to also knit lasting contacts. Thank you, Dr. Narayan, President, for your endeavor and your engagement, and it gives me the opportunity also to commend Dr. Ravi Gupta. I still remember when he came to see me about 10 years ago with the idea to launch a magazine called ICT for Development, and that time I was very much involved in preparing the so-called Information and Society Summit in Geneva, and I did not succeed to bring ICT for development on that political agenda. So we figured out what do we need, and we organized that ICT4D platform, and he made his magazine. And I think having been one of the supporters at the beginning of those initiatives, it was right to do so when I see what the results are. So I am certainly hoping that all India looks forward to 2012 when that forum is coming up, hopefully again. Thank you very much.